Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by Milo Tree. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Blogger Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Jillian Leslie, and I am a serial entrepreneur. And really, what gets me up in the morning is building tools to empower you as a creator, for you to grow your businesses. I'm incredibly excited to announce that on July 21st, which could be tomorrow, depending on when you're listening to this, because this is going to drop on the 20th, on the 21st at 12 o'clock Central Time, I am hosting a live training where I will be showing you how you can launch a paid workshop in under 15 minutes. What I mean by that is I'm going to go through how to set up a paid workshop using Milo Tree Cart, our payment solution. I'm going to go through how to set up a free sales page on Milo Tree Cart, and also give you a 14-day launch calendar with everything you need to launch your own workshop. And it will have things like sales email templates and social media templates, and really go step by step. Like, we have your back. And I want to show you then how easy this is to put together. All you're going to need is Milo Tree Cart, Zoom, and an email service provider. So I hope you will join me. It's $10. And again, I'm charging on purpose because you will show up differently if you pay $10. If you can't be there live, no problem. I will be sending a recording and all the goodies and everything afterwards. So to sign up, head to launchplan, one word, .milotreecart.com. launchplan.milotreecart.com. This is the perfect way to get your feet wet in selling digital products to your audience so that you can build your digital product empire. Tap into this revenue stream, because if you have an audience, it is waiting for you. For today's episode, I have my friend Carrie Forrest on the show. She is the founder of the clean eating blog called Clean Eating Kitchen. And what we're talking about actually is how she's had tremendous success as a food blogger, and how she started offering paid workshops to her audience because she felt like her business was missing something. I think her story is incredibly inspiring. It gives you a sense of what it is like to put one of these together. I think it's really honest. I think you're going to really like it. So without further delay, here is my interview with Carrie Forrest. Carrie, welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast.
Thank you, Jillian.
We were just reminiscing about how we recorded an episode, and I have to look up the date, about maybe 4 years ago. And I messed up the recording, and I had to reach out to you and go, oh gosh, Carrie, I really messed this up. Could we reschedule? And we never got a time to reschedule. So cut to 4 years later, and here you are finally back on the show.
Yes, and we should probably revisit that topic sometime. It was keyword research, and so much has changed, but we're not going to be talking about that today.
So will you though share how you started your food blog, how you got into blogging, and where you are today?
Yes, so I have been blogging since 2009, but I've really only focused on turning it into a business since around 2018.
Wow.
So it really was more of a hobby, and I was doing a lot of other things in between that time. I got a master's degree in public health, and it wasn't as common to build your blog into a business in 2009, 2010. There weren't really a lot of monetization options, and especially not to make it a full-time business. But so in around 2018, I really did start focusing on turning it into a business. I wish I'd started earlier, but at this point, fast forward to 2022, and I am a full-time blogger, and it is a full-time business for me. And I get most of my traffic through search traffic, and then I monetize through Mediavine, and my website name, you probably mentioned it, is Clean Eating Kitchen, and my specialty is gluten-free and dairy-free recipes. And I also do health articles because I have my master's degree, so I can usually rank pretty well for health articles as well.
Okay, so what got you into healthy living, healthy eating?
Well, I've had pretty much a lifetime of health issues, from hormone issues like PCOS to autoimmune stuff, Hashimoto's. And then in 2012, actually, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. So I'm actually coming up on my 10-year cancer-free anniversary. So that will be fun to celebrate. But, I didn't really make the connection between food and health until my 30s, definitely into my 30s. And then it just was like this whole new world opened up to me. I got really interested in nutrition. I never took any food or nutrition classes in school, in college or anything. So then I ended up going back to school and really studying nutrition. And then I just kind of started blogging that whole journey. And I also kept asking my audience as I was growing my blog, what do you want? Because we were, we always heard like, oh, you should survey your audience and see what they want. And they would always tell me recipes. So back in 2009, when I started, I would never post a recipe. I would just maybe post a really horrible looking picture of food that I took, with an old digital camera, and maybe comment or say something about my day. But my audience did keep asking for recipes. So I did start posting recipes around probably 2010. But yeah, it's just really grown very organically since then.
Okay, and can you share how many page views, say, a month do you get?
Okay, so it took me forever to reach 100,000 page views, probably well into 2019. And then once I hit 100, very quickly, because then I kind of started to know what I was doing. I started doing keyword research. I really started making sure my site was SEO friendly, really started optimizing for page views and for what Google wants. And so I quickly got to 250,000. My high this year so far was 650,000.
Wow.
I'm hoping to get to 1 million page views. I think that would be so exciting, 1 million monthly page views. But yeah, I vary between 500,000 and 600,000 page views a month at this point.
So what does it feel like? Because this is okay. When we then started talking, what does it feel like to know you've got this like kind of this engine that is running, that is, how to optimize posts, how to provide what people are looking for. But then we started talking. So would you share what that journey has been for you?
Yes. So, growing a website is very fulfilling, especially when you start to see the revenue come in. But at a certain point, it does start to feel kind of like you're putting content out into a black hole, especially when you're really working on keyword research based on Google search traffic. You're not necessarily responding to reader requests, but it just starts to feel kind of mechanical. And of course, not to complain about revenue, because more revenue is always nice, but you don't necessarily get the same thrill if you make, like say I hit 400,000 page views versus 500,000 page views. It really doesn't feel that much different. And so I did start to, probably at least several years ago, start to feel disconnected from my audience. And also, of course, blogging has changed so much. Back in the early days, we didn't have social media, so everyone was commenting on everybody else's blog. I have blog posts that have hundreds of comments on them from the past. At this point, I will only get comments if somebody makes the recipe and they want to either say that they loved it or they hated it. So yeah, so at this point, most of my blog posts have 1 to 3 comments on them at the most. If a recipe really takes off after a couple of years, it will get more comments and ratings and things like that. But it is easy to start to feel very, very disconnected from your audience. And I'm not a really big social media person. I put really the bulk of my work and my effort goes into my website. So I don't have a lot of time for Instagram and even YouTube. I have a small presence there. It's not, you really don't feel connected. I mean, you're making the video and you're putting it out there. It's not like you're really in front of your audience. I mean, they feel connected to you, but you don't feel connected to them. I think maybe other bloggers can, kind of maybe feel the same way.
Well, it's so funny. And this is true for me too. I say in every podcast episode, email me. I'd love your feedback. Talk to me. Like I'm a real person. I respond to every email. And I will tell you, I get so few emails. Or DM me on Instagram. I see all the messages and stuff. I would love to interact with you. And people don't. And I find that so interesting. And what I've known, and I used to take it very personally, like everybody else is having all these amazing conversations and their audiences are so responsive. And yet like nobody wants to talk to me. And then as I've dug in with people, they say the same thing. So, you go, well, you're supposed to talk to your audience and ask them what they want from you. And then people go, but my audience doesn't talk to me.
Yeah, I felt the same way. That's true. I think the most interaction I get is maybe if a face or an Instagram post goes viral, but that happens so infrequently these days, or maybe Instagram stories. And then it's usually about your personal life. It's not really about businessy stuff or what they really are looking for when they're having a problem. Like, what is your problem? So actually a few times I reached out. I do have some Facebook groups, which is okay way to connect with people. It's hard because of the Facebook algorithm, but every once in a while I would get somebody who would comment a lot on my Facebook posts. So I actually did some one-on-one calls with people. I actually reached out to them and said, would you be willing to chat with me about your clean eating experience or whatever? But I mean, that's not, I can't spend all day, on calls as much as I would like to. It was interesting and it was a great way to connect, but there aren't that many people who are willing to do that. And of course, it takes a lot of time on my part as well.
So you started to think about courses.
Yes.
And can you tell me about your thinking and how you started to, potentially work on them or, subscriptions you'd signed up for or whatever, and how that path worked for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I just thought I had done some ebooks and I figured the next rational step for me to try to connect to my audience or give them more of what they wanted or needed was to do a course. So I had heard some podcast episodes and, you hear about people who make tons of money on courses. And so, of course, that was enticing. And so I started to go down that path. I took some very expensive courses on how to set up a course. And I'm sure like many other people, I didn't even finish that course, or it's the most expensive one I bought. I didn't even finish the course. And I also just got overwhelmed with the process of making a course. And then I have my daily activities that I have to complete because I publish almost every day on my website. And so I'm a very, very busy blogger. I just don't have a lot of extra time. And so creating a course kept just getting further down on the to-do list. And then I'm pretty sure I heard a podcast or you offered a workshop on how to set up
a workshop.
Yeah, a workshop on how to set up a workshop.
So meta. Yes.
Yes. And I think, I'm not sure if you mentioned something like about courses at that time, like if you've thought about a course, but you can't get it finished, maybe consider a workshop, or maybe that just had that connection in my head. But I took your workshop on creating a workshop.
Wait, which by the way, I'm going to be offering very soon again. So
good.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. It was everything I needed. You charged a minimal fee versus the fee that I paid for that other course on creating a course, which is, probably about 100 or 1,000 times, maybe 100 times more expensive. And so I jumped at the opportunity to learn how to do a workshop. And it just seemed like, you sold me on the idea to do a workshop. And then, of course, you had a product, which made it so much easier. And when I was in the process of creating my course that never got finished, just the process of making a professional looking sales page was so technical and overwhelming that I had no idea what to do. And I'm not super technical, but I'm not completely untechnical. Like, I run a blog, I know how to do a lot of stuff, but creating a fancy sales page, like doing some kind of plugin, and there was all this code, and it was so overwhelming, versus you have this product where you create a sales page in literally 5 minutes. And it looks very similar. It looks very professional. It's there to send to your audience. That was extremely appealing to me.
So we got on a call. And by the way, this is like what I say, email me at jillian@milotree.com and we'll get on a call like I did with you, Carrie. And we started to kind of brainstorm, what did you want to teach people? Like what I find, what inspired me about working with you was this idea that you have a message, which is that food can be healing. And I could tell that you wanted to connect with people around that message, that you had something that you thought could help others.
Yes. I think that's key. You really do need to want to have something to share with your audience, or something that your audience just keeps asking you for. It just makes a very natural fit that then you create this workshop opportunity that gives them exactly what they're asking for. I think even before we got on our call, so after I took your workshop, I was inspired. So I did create the sales page using your product, the Milo Tree Cart. And I have to say my first one was a complete flop because I didn't know how to sell. And so, it was a good lesson. If I had gone down the road of creating the course and spending months doing it, because I really didn't get that far, I would not have known how to sell it. So it would have been actually even more money and time lost to me. But thankfully, you have some great podcast episodes about selling, and then you were really kind to basically give me some selling, really great advice on selling, which I needed, because as bloggers, at least like super introverted bloggers like me, where I've never had a sales position. I've worked, I did have office jobs before I became a blogger, but I've never been in sales, and I've always been very introverted. So, but just getting used, just being a blogger, there's really no selling. Maybe the ebooks, but that's very passive. You can put it in your newsletter. There's really no time crunch. But selling a workshop where there's actually, it's coming up in a few weeks, that is a very different experience. So I have learned a ton in the past few months. So that very first workshop, I sent out one email to my email list. That was it, one email, and nobody bought it. And I was so disheartened. But then when you sent out an email, or you mentioned on your podcast that you would actually, coach people if they wanted, or do a call with you, I definitely thought I needed that. And so we did that, and you pretty much blew my mind with how aggressive you do need to be with selling. To me, it doesn't feel aggressive now. At the time, it did feel aggressive. So I went ahead and I set up my second workshop, and it was based on, I think, an even more enticing topic that my audience had asked for. So you and I brainstormed, I think, some of that.
So wait, what was the first one on? I don't remember. I know the second one was going sugar-free without being deprived.
Yeah, the first one was the healthy holidays.
Yes.
And I think I'm going to try to do that one this year, now that I know how to sell. So that one was the one that didn't happen. The sugar-free one, I knew my audience like that topic because I have a special Facebook group around that topic. I have an ebook around that topic. I have top ranked posts around going sugar free. So I knew that in general, it's a very popular topic that people are interested in. And so I think on our first call, we set up my sales page, and you kind of gave me a rundown on how the selling should go, which, as I mentioned, kind of blew my mind because you essentially said send out an email every day for like
Wait,
a
and
week.
didn't I give you, we have a 14-day launch calendar with email
Yes.
templates and social media posts templates. And, it says every day what, now you don't have to send all those emails, but they're there. And I do believe that if you see your product as a solution that can help people, then it's almost like you have an obligation to go help people, to let them know that there's a real person, Carrie, there who wants to make your life better.
Yeah, I so agree. You reminded me on more than one occasion, like very firmly, Carrie, you're not selling snake oil.
Yes.
And I hear that in my head all the time because I'm really not. And I also priced my second workshop extremely low. I think I did it at $10 because I did not want the cost to be a barrier. I mean, of course, nowadays with everything so expensive, I really wanted to make it very accessible, but also I didn't want to make it free because there's research showing that people value things more when they pay for them. And so
Definitely.
$10, um, anyways, so I took your advice. I followed your advice almost to a T. Some of the things I still was too shy to do. Like I don't think I really pushed on Instagram stories. I
Right. I
did
don't
more
think
with my
you didn't go live. Didn't you
No, I
go?
didn't. I definitely didn't go live in my Facebook groups. I really did not take advantage of my Facebook groups, which I did more in my third workshop. I've done three now. Or yeah, I've planned three. I've done two. So yeah, so my first workshop that I actually went through with, I sold 30 seats. And I was so pleased with that number. It did feel scary to do all that marketing and all that selling. And some people did unsubscribe from my mailing list. And I think you and I talked about that too, that essentially you said that it's okay because you kind of need to train your audience that you offer more than just free blog posts, and that you do have this opportunity to connect with me more, not one-on-one, but kind of face-to-face through this workshop. I allowed for time for people to ask questions. So I mean, I'm not like a nutritionist or a dietitian, but I do have pretty good training in nutrition. And I mean, if you tried to get any kind of an appointment with anybody trained in nutrition, you're going to spend a lot more than $10. And I'm essentially giving people, access to me for an hour at the workshop and follow up emails, which, hardly anybody followed up. So you offer these things and you think, oh, I'm going to get 100 emails, but you don't. You get maybe a couple of emails.
What was so interesting, because after you did it, we did a call just to hear how it went. You said a couple of things. You said it was really satisfying. You said it was really exhausting. And then you said that there was a woman who took it, I guess, and was like emailing you or staying in touch with you in the Facebook group or something. And you felt this connection with her because she was really going sugar-free. And I think for you, I don't want to speak for you, but at least in my read of that, it was like, oh my God, these are real people. It's not like I'm yelling into the abyss.
Yes, I remember now that you mention it, I felt like, wow, I'm changing somebody's life for the better. And that felt, yeah, extremely satisfying, a lot more satisfying than knowing, that how many thousand people read that article I have on going sugar free. That feeling of satisfaction is nothing compared to, knowing one person. She was telling me, she was posting in the Facebook group how after the workshop and all the changes she was making day by day, and it was extremely rewarding.
Yes. Yeah. Now let's talk about then your third one. Okay. Versus your second. Like you said, we did another recap discussion, and you said you were less like you felt like you were getting into your groove. And by the way, I talked with somebody else who did their first workshop who said the exact same thing. Oh my God, I felt exhausted. I was worried about my technology. And then she said to me at the end, but if I were to do it again, like in a half an hour, I could totally nail it, like without feeling exhausted. Like I know what it is now. It's almost like I broke through. I know what to expect. I recognize like, yeah, my technology could fail and that's okay. Like just having gone through the exercise. So it was so similar to what you said. I want to take a short break to say that if this is sounding interesting to you, if all of a sudden you're thinking, I want to launch a paid workshop, but I don't know what I could teach, I have a free download for you that will help you come up with your idea. And you can get this at milotree.com/workshop idea. So that's milotree.com/workshop idea. It's just a little worksheet, and it will help you ideate and think about what your audience would want from you. What problem could you solve? And now back to the show.
The third one that I planned was not only was it easier to actually do the workshop, I did not feel as tired afterwards. I felt a lot more confident during the workshop, but all the lead up to it was a piece of cake compared to the first time. The sales, I felt extremely confident. I really had no qualms about sending out emails. Then I use MailChimp for my email, and you can send like a follow-up email to the people who don't open the first email. So I had no qualms about doing that, that I was going to annoy people, or I kept hearing, your voice, the thing about not selling snake oil, that I was offering value to them. I did increase my price on the third one as well, not significantly, but I had one person tell me that she thought it was too expensive. So I asked her, more about her situation and stuff, and she was on an extremely limited budget. So I let her come for free. I mean, it wasn't, it's not like high ticket item. So it's been really fun to think about. Now that I've done 2 successful ones, I have all these ideas for future topics. I feel like I do feel so much more connected to my audience, and not in the sense that I know people's names, because at the workshop, you're still the leader and it's on a Zoom call, and you're not necessarily asking people, oh, what's your name and where you are from. There's really not that. I mean, I suppose you could do something like that, like if you did like a support group or something like that. But it was more about seeing people's faces and getting kind of just feeling like my emails that I put out in general, they're going to real people on my Facebook, they're real people. I also do follow-up surveys after my workshops, and I find that to be very helpful. And also, I try to ask for criticism, but usually I've just gotten really nice comments and compliments about how it was a good workshop. And so it's ended up boosting my confidence even more, although, I would love for people to give me some maybe constructive criticism, how I could make them better. But I do recommend doing a follow-up survey, so you can always try to hear feedback from your audience.
The thing that I would say, Carrie, having known you now, and watching this progression, I feel like there is a confidence today talking to you just about this and about putting out stuff in front of your audience and selling value, that you really have value to sell, value to provide. Like I've watched it now as you've gone through these these 3 exercises. And then you came back and you're like, and then you remember you said, I'm probably going to do the, 4-year, or we've talked about doing like a 3-week challenge. Like it's really opened you up, almost as if by getting through the block of, oh my God, I'm really going to show up live on Zoom with these people. And oh my God, I'm really going to sell to them, like really sell, not just like a PS, hey, don't want to pressure you, but that kind of thing. But like going, no, this is valuable. This will really be beneficial for your life. I can guarantee it. Otherwise, I'll give you your money back. That there's a level of creativity, possibility. That's what I see in you as an entrepreneur, more than a blogger. It's like you kind of switched. You are a blogger, and that's where you make the bulk of your money right now. But it's like this entrepreneurial switch got flipped.
Yeah, no, I totally agree because as a blogger at this point, all of my blog topics, all of my recipes and articles are all based on keyword research. They're not remotely, I mean, really, it's kind of sad to say, but they're really not remotely related to what my audience is asking me for. I'm doing it's all data driven versus these workshops are 100% based on what my audience wants. That I either ask them in a survey what they want, or they're asking about in the Facebook group, or based on the trends or whatever, but it's not based on keyword research. That's kind of like, save that for the blog. And now there's this other like really rich component to me, I guess, and to my business, where I can speak directly to my audience and give them exactly what they want, as opposed to like the sugar-free thing. I only write an article about sugar-free maybe once a year, and it's really only when the keyword research reveals that there's a topic that has high search volume and low competition. But but my audience, they need more help than that, than in some random article once a year. They might need they might need a workshop 4 times a year on different topics on sugar-free. So yeah, it really adds, I think, a connection that wasn't there before. And it almost kind of like puts me back into the business, where it doesn't feel so cold and analytical. It really feels like it's my business and I'm the head of it and I'm the one speaking about it.
Now, so working with me, was that scary? Was that like, what was that? What was that like? Because I want to encourage others to reach out to me, that I will, help them. Because again, it's like you wanting to help your audience live better, healthier lives. Same thing. Like, I want to help women predominantly, although I do work with some men to help them, but my audience is predominantly women. And I feel like we all, because I can speak from my own experience, have our blocks and our places. And I've been pushing myself to lean into the value that hopefully I'm providing, and to be it's like I learn it and then I can teach it, because I feel like, oh, I had a breakthrough. Let me share my breakthrough with everybody. And so anyway, so what was that like for you?
Well, I think you're amazing. I think you are like a business coach and a cheerleader, wrapped in one. You're more, I think you're more extroverted than me. And so, but it helps me, because I could hear your voice so much when I was doing like my selling. And in a way it really helped, because my voice would have been, I don't want to bother you. I do have this workshop. If you don't want to come, it's okay. But
it might help you, but
it might help you. Yeah. Versus your voice, I know this is going to help you. I'm doing this workshop. I really want you to be there. I think it's really going to help you with this problem. I can't wait to see you there, and then maybe follow up the next day with that person. And that's not my voice, but now it's kind of becoming my voice, because you do need to have that assertiveness and that confidence to sell, because it doesn't sound the same when you say this might help you, kind of pathetically. So yeah, so I mean, in a way I needed that because again, I have never had sales experience, and it's just so easy to sit behind the computer as a blogger and be passive, which is, for most of the time, that's what I really love.
By the
That's
way,
my
I have
like,
to say,
yeah.
I mean, just going through like Milo Tree customers and stuff and reaching out to them specifically about Milo Tree Cart. And I feel this, I said this to David, my husband, yesterday. I said, I think food blogging is a great way to hide behind your blog because it is all about the food, and you could do photos,
Hmm.
you could do videos, and you never have to show yourself and you never have to put yourself out there. And I believe that being an entrepreneur is a great way to work on yourself, to push yourself in ways that are uncomfortable, but that can fill up your gas tank, that can put food on your table, that can create a better life for you if you're willing to push yourself into those places of discomfort. But it was so, my philosophy about blogging has changed in that it was me too hiding behind my blog when we have with Catch My Party. Initially, my feeling was I wanted to make it seem like a really big company, and it was just David and me. So it was like this
Hmm.
weird fiction of like, look at us, we're like the experts on party planning, and like as if we have like a staff of 100 people, and we didn't. And but that was blogging back in like 2009. And so today I feel like you're standing now in front of your blog, and it's you kind of directing people into your blog, but also directing them to all of the offerings that you have. And your blog is a way to gain authority and a way to get people to know you and trust you and all that, then to put out your expertise. But that's now one part of your business. And that if you really want to be this well-rounded entrepreneur, it's like the person in front of the restaurant kind of going, hey, come on in for the best Italian food or whatever it is. And that I think it is about reorienting the way we think about where our blog sits in our business.
Yeah, I think that's true. But I also think that if I had been happy just plugging along like I was, then I wouldn't have felt the need to do something different. But I think in a way, like your restaurant analogy, if a chef is in the kitchen and never ever ever comes out into the dining room or even looks into the dining room, that's chef is going to feel extremely unfulfilled because you can only make great food, back in your kitchen and send it out. But if you never hear from customers and you never like see their smiling faces or even get feedback, then I've never been a chef. I can imagine that would be extremely unfulfilling. And I think that's what had started to happen being a blogger, because I got so just deeper and deeper and deeper into the analytics and just pushing out blog posts without like coming out and seeing like how are you people are you enjoying this? Is it helping you? Like what else can I do? So that's what these workshops have really done for me.
So people want to know, like, what are you planning?
So yeah,
Like, what are some of the ideas that you're thinking about? And
it's been pretty
maybe they might
easy.
reach out to you and say, oh, do that one. That's what I would be interested.
Yeah, I mean, since I do have Facebook groups, I can ask. I have two Facebook groups for my business.
Okay, what are they?
I
So
can
people
ask
can
them.
join if they want.
Oh, there's one. It's called Clean Eating Diet and Support. I'm not even sure if my name's attached to it. I think that's what it's called. And then there's the Sugar-Free Challenge with Carrie Forrest. So that's a place that I can ask people. But then just off of the top of my head, I mean, since I write about gluten-free and dairy-free, it's pretty easy just to think of topics like I want to do the healthy holidays one. I want to do a hormone one. I mean, really any topic that does reasonably well on my website, I think is a potential. And also, to be frank, once you have a blog post, and even if you're a straight food blogger, even if you find people gravitating towards something even kind of obscure like how to use gluten-free flours or even how to bake a cake. If you find people gravitating towards those posts, it's very easy to create a workshop because you already have the blog posts. So you're literally just, in a lot of ways, you're bringing a certain blog post to life with your workshop. So you don't, that's another thing. I think I was overwhelmed. Like with the course, you're creating all this content. I mean, you can't just take one blog post and make it a full course and expect to charge anywhere from, $300 to who knows, $1,000. But with a workshop that you're selling for most likely less than $100, you can really take one blog post and turn that into a 45-minute discussion. And it's really going to bring, you're going to get to be very detailed and you're going to be able to answer questions. So it's really easy to set up the workshop versus the course. So I just want to kind of put that out there because, again, like we're all very busy. We don't have days to devote to creating, slides, and then you had templates for slides. So it's just so easy to set up. So I think that's one reason that it's just so easy for me to think of topics because I just look at what's performing well. And I send out a weekly newsletter so I can see, like in my newsletter, how many people clicked on that specific topic. So that kind of gives me a clue too of what people are interested in. Then I can use kind of my own intuition to feel like what topics might be interesting. And then of course you can test a topic. You can set up a sales page in a few minutes. You could maybe even set up 2 different topics and maybe to schedule one for 1 month and the second one for the second month and see which one people are signing up for. That's going to give you an idea of what people are interested in. So it's pretty easy to
and
find
as
a
an
topic.
introvert, what was it like? Because again, just to set up a workshop with Milo Tree Cart, you need Milo Tree Cart, you need an email service provider like MailChimp and Zoom.
Yes.
What was it like for you then to show up on Zoom?
It wasn't too bad. I think maybe the pandemic has gotten us more accustomed to video stuff. Yeah, it really wasn't too bad. I was nervous, more so with the first one. I think I would say fairly nervous. The second one, I would say minimally nervous. Maybe just more kind of the adrenaline of having something to do. And you have to be there on time. And the technical part was easy. I recorded it. And then because a lot of people, they can't attend live because it is kind of hard to figure out what time to offer your workshop. So you kind of suggested like middle of the day in the week, which is what I did. But of course, a lot of people can't come. And so I recorded it. I uploaded that video, which is very easy. Zoom makes that easy. I just uploaded the video to YouTube, my YouTube channel, and made it I think it's
Unlisted,
private, or unlisted. And then YouTube gives you a link, and then I just sent out a follow-up the same day through my email to everyone. So people might even want to watch the replay, even if they attended live. And then I included anything that I promised them, like I made a clean eating shopping list, which I already had on my website. So it's funny because a lot of these things I've already given to my audience,
right?
But maybe they forgot, or
right.
they downloaded it.
Well, I say this to people all the time. Okay, so I was talking to this one woman, and she's like a crafter, and she got sent by the company of a certain crafting tool and learned like the special techniques or something. But she was with a cohort of other crafters, and she came back and I said, why don't you teach that? And she said, no, because the other people in the cohort are going to be teaching it. And I don't want to like step on their toes. And I turned to her and I said, everything in the world is on YouTube. Like, I promise you that this crafting company wants all their secrets out there. So you better believe they're not just sharing them with 5 crafters. Right. And if these other crafters are sharing, this best ways to use these tools, you've got your own spin and your own personality and your own way. So even if they are teaching it you could still teach it because you know it differently. So, but that idea of like, oh, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm charging for this workshop, even though all this stuff is on my blog and it's free. Everything's free. Like, meaning if you really are looking for whatever that thing is, you can find it. But the truth is, what's not free is you. Like, you're
Yeah.
special. You are the thing that is the glue. And like, I'm showing up for Carrie to teach me this.
Yeah, I've thought about that because I remember you saying that, and that is so true because it's not just an opportunity for me to get to know my audience better. They're getting to know me. This is probably the first time that they have ever seen me beyond just my little picture on my website because I don't do the Facebook lives very much. I don't do Instagram stories. I might show like the beach where I live, but it's not, I never show my face because I am shy. So this is likely, yeah, like the first time that they've seen me, or maybe they've seen me on YouTube, but they have never like actually seen me as a person. So yeah, it's an opportunity for them too, because yeah, I mean, most of my traffic is search traffic, and a lot of, I would say probably 80 to 90% of those people don't come back to my website, but that leaves 10% who like they are signed up on my email list. They are connected to me and trust me. And so this gives them an even greater chance to actually see me as a real person. And yeah, so it's an opportunity for everybody, really.
I love that. I love that. Well, I have to say, I'm so glad that this recording hopefully will work, and that I've gotten to watch this transformation. It's
Thank you.
really
Yeah,
from
I
my
appreciate
side,
it.
because I'm not, I'm watching you and I'm hearing what you say. And when I reached out to you and I was like, Carrie, please come back on the show. And you were like, yes. So it was just like, again, I'm watching you blossom as an entrepreneur. That's it. I'm watching you blossom as an entrepreneur, moving beyond your blog. Like, you are kind of now stepping out in front of it, and you have this really successful, beautiful blog to be so proud of that has really put you on the map. But now it's almost like you're even bigger than that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, this has been a process because I really started feeling this disconnection several years ago, and I just never found the right way to kind of break out of that. And so, your product and of course you helping me gave me that opportunity. So I'm grateful to you for that, and I appreciate it.
Oh, and I feel, and again, like we are friends, and that feels so
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I know. I got a new friend.
That's exactly how I feel. All right, Carrie, first of all, okay, if people want to reach out to you, how can they do that? And then if they want to join your Facebook groups or find out get on your email list to find out what your next workshop's going to be about, like, how can people find you on the internet?
Okay, yeah, and I would love to get emails. Because
It
I
feels
don't.
like, do you feel like I feel a little needy? Do you?
Yeah,
Like,
please
I'm always
email
like, please
me.
email me.
No, but I do love it because I don't. I love this business side of blogging. I don't sell anything, like I don't have a course about blogging or anything, but I find the topic fascinating. And so when other bloggers reach out to me and they say maybe they heard me or something I said resonated with them, I love to have that interaction with other bloggers and kind of like see where their business is and maybe try to help brainstorm because, I'm at the point in my career too where I feel like I've learned enough where I like mentoring people and offering my advice, but I don't really have any other avenue. I don't have a business podcast or anything. So if people want to email me, that is great. And my email address is on my website under my contact page. So I think that's pretty easy to find. It's right there.
Okay, and your
It's
blog, where can
my
people?
blog is cleaneatingkitchen.com.
Cleaneatingkitchen.com.
Right. And then on Instagram, I'm Clean Eating Carrie. And I do, even though I don't post that often, I do, of course, check it multiple times a day. So, it's fun to see what other people are up to. But so, yeah, you can message me there as well.
And if anybody out there wants me to help them set up a paid workshop, I am super happy. And by the way, I am, again, I want you out there to be successful. And also I get to learn about my own product. So it's a win-win. Because people have said, well, why are you really doing this for free? And I'm like, yes, I'm doing it for free, but there's definitely something in it for me as well. So you can reach out to me at jillian@milotree.com. And I'd love to get on a call with you to help you think through this. And one thing that we do offer is a really detailed 14-day launch calendar, not overwhelming. It just tells you what each day, what to do, and gives you email templates and everything so that we try. My goal is to take the overwhelm out and to make it something where, hey, just follow this. And you've got yourself a workshop and show up and connect and build out your business and become this entrepreneur. Like that's what I want for everybody out there, is just success and happiness.
Yeah, I would highly encourage people to take advantage of your offer because it's helped me hugely.
Oh, well, Carrie, I am so proud of you. And I really am so happy that I have a new friend. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you guys like this episode. For me, what resonates the most is when Carrie talks about the journey she went on from her first workshop all the way to her third, and the confidence that she developed, the way that she was able to see her blog as something that's really helping people, that's not just about algorithms. I find that very nourishing. Hopefully this episode has inspired you to take the leap and launch your own paid workshop. And if this sounds interesting to you, remember, on July 21st at noon Central Time, I am offering a live training on how to launch your own paid workshop in under 15 minutes. Please come. It's just going to be an hour. You will get the recording and all the goodies afterwards. So to sign up, head to launchplan.milotreecart.com. So again, I would love you to come. $10, launchplan.milotreecart.com. Again, what motivates and drives me is watching you have success in your businesses, being able to make money the way you want to, and living the life you've always dreamed of. So please join me on the 21st at noon Central Time. And if you can't be there live, no problem. You'll get a recording of the video. And if you are listening to this episode after the workshop has already happened, you can still buy the recording. So just head to launchplan.milotreecart.com and it'll be up for sale. I hope to see you there. And if I don't, I will see you here again next week.